If you're pressed for time in the gym, but you still want to make massive upper body gains or frankly gains of any kind, learn how in today's Quick Wits, where we talk about time efficient training to supercharge your upper body workouts. Welcome to the Wits and Weights podcast. I'm your host, Philip Pape, and this twice-a-week podcast is dedicated to helping you achieve physical self-mastery by getting stronger, optimizing your nutrition, and upgrading your body composition. We'll uncover science-backed strategies for movement, metabolism, muscle, and mindset with a skeptical eye on the fitness industry so you can look and feel your absolute best. Let's dive right in. Recently, Eric Helms and Mark Zordos published a special massive training guide, time-efficient training techniques for upper body in the Mass Research Review, so credit where credit is due. And I wanted to make a quick wits about this because I also love this topic. I talked with Brian Borstein about it as well, and some of the other folks that have been on the show. And on today's Quick Wits, we're talking about upper body specifically based on this article, but honestly, these methods can apply to anything. I would say they are not earth-shattering. They're not cutting edge. They've been around for a long time. The bros have been using them forever. Arnold, the guys like that. I've used them. My coach Andy Baker uses them. And I'm coming more to the idea that these don't necessarily have to compromise your training or performance, and they can be an excellent way to solve one very thorny problem many of us have, and that is just potentially not enough time. And the cool thing in this Mass article or this PDF that they put out is they compared a traditional workout to a workout where everything was updated with these time-efficient techniques, and you saved like 50% in your time without necessarily any loss in performance when it comes to hypertrophy. Now, there are some caveats, like if you're going for maximal strength, powerlifting, big movements, compound lifts, low rep ranges where you need a lot of rest periods, you can't be using these for everything. So they also suggest that you might want a hybrid approach. You're not doing this for every movement, but you might have one or two movements you do the traditional way with plenty of rest between sets, and then 2 or 3 movements at the end that you're doing with these time intensity techniques. And the other caveat is don't use this to get in massively more volume. That's not really the point. The point is simply to save time in the existing effective amount of volume you have. So the 3 methods, they allow you to basically maintain or increase your, workout intensity, we'll call it, and your volume, but in a fraction of the time. So the first one is rest pause sets. And all this is you perform a set to failure or near failure, and then you only take about 30 seconds, or some people say 10 to 15 breaths. And then you go to the next set, you could probably only get about half the reps, and then you take 30 seconds, and then you do the last set and only about half the reps. Obviously, that's an example of doing 3 sets. But you can do it with, say, 4 with 2. And the idea here is you're keeping the muscles under tension basically for longer and not letting them recover as quickly, so you're closer to failure when you get to sets 2 and 3. So that's called rest pause sets. Super effective. I use them all the time. Great, especially for isolation type work. The second technique is supersets, which is just alternating between 2 exercises with no rest in between. I mean, sometimes you might have like 30 seconds of rest, but this would be doing, say, a set of bench press and then a set of rows. Or even in my starting strength days, I might do a set of squats, and then during the rest period, I would warm up the press or the deadlift, right? Whatever the next movement is. And so you can do these with opposite muscle groups, the same muscle groups, or kind of halfway in between. The closer the muscle groups are to being the same, the more you're going to fatigue them, and so the more it can affect your performance. And this is where I like antagonist sets, like biceps and triceps, right? Or leg curls, leg extensions, things like that. And by the way, all of these intensity techniques have a little extra, it's either a bonus or a curse, and that is they get your heart rate up. And this is a work capacity issue, which could be a benefit if you're trying to improve your conditioning. The third technique is called drop sets. Just very classic. After you lift a set to failure, you then just drop the weight a little bit and you do more reps till you hit failure and drop it again. Now you could do it in a very controlled way. Like you do a set of 12 and then you drop 10%, and then you do as many as you can, you drop 10%. Or you could just say, look, I'm going to go until I hit 50 reps or I hit 75 reps. And you just keep dropping. You do a bunch, you drop, you do a bunch, you drop. And each time you're going to failure. Again, a very effective technique. So you could complete a traditional session that takes 90 minutes in maybe an hour, or maybe even 45 minutes by swapping out some of your, your dumbbell flies and your tricep pushdowns and your barbell curls and things like that with these movements, and also get a little extra work capacity and conditioning in there as well. And it gives you a little more variety, makes your workouts some more dynamic, intense, sometimes more productive because they force you to focus. You're not kind of sitting around during your rest sets or getting on your phone or checking email, and you're just focused and you get it done. So there are a lot of reasons to do this. Always keep pushing the limits of what you think you can achieve or what you're able to do. Get creative, train smart, stay strong, and maximize that time in the gym. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Wits and Weights. If you found value in today's episode and know someone else who's looking to level up their wits or weights, please take a moment to share this episode with them. And make sure to hit the follow button in your podcast platform right now to catch the next episode. Until then, stay strong. Hey, before you go, I want to let you know about a free resource I have. They are free guides on everything from fat loss to eating out to building muscle to managing hunger to figuring out the best macros for you and more being added all the time. You want to get the most out of these podcasts and your time to look and feel your best, and these free guides will give you a quick and easy way to know what to do. If you want to get your hands on these completely free guides, you can head over to witsandweights.com/free. That's witsandweights.com/free to get your free guides and level up your results today.